Welcome to SveNFL.
What is up, y'all?
It's Jonathan Rollins.
Excuse me, Sarah.
Two Americans living in Sweden talking about vasectomies.
Let's go with vasectomies.
We're not actually talking about it because I want to get one, and Schif said his story will scare me away from the procedure, and I don't want to be scared out of it, so I'm going to get the procedure, and then I'll hear your amazing story.
Given that we have, some time before the Super Bowl, maybe next week when we're doing the Super Bowl preview, we have time for a little distraction, a little side story. It's a very interesting story that involves a vasectomy that did not go according to plan. I'll just say that. It was a rough couple of days. Let's just say that for now.
Well, my balls hurt. So what you got on the docket here, man? What are we talking about?
Yeah, let's jump into some news. Obviously, there are a ton. Man, this is the year that everybody, so many assistant coaches and coordinators are getting fired. We talked a lot about it last week, which meant that at some point you're going to have to get some motherfuckers hired. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest news stories of the week, which had Jonathan Rollins just about to fucking create all kinds of mess up in his britches, was the announcement that the Dolphins have hired Vic Fangio as their defensive coordinator.
Oh man, I can't be happier. I couldn't be happier. This was my dream hire. I said it before. I said they should have fired Josh Boyer last year and bring in Vic Fangio, who was it was mentioned that Mike McDaniel liked him and wanted him there, but they probably just wanted to keep things as steady as possible with the defense, and because there was no problem with the defense under Flores, and then. Well,
this is a good hire.
They brought him in now. I guess they trust Mike McDaniel. This shows they trust him and okay, bring your guy in. Now that we know that they like you, they like him obviously. So
as they should. I feel like there was way too much chatter, and I know that it probably had a lot to do with the story that preceded the hiring of McDaniel. This story of they got Stephen Ross in trouble.
Oh, okay.
With trying to get Sean Payton and Tom Brady to come to the Dolphins. That doesn't
mean McDaniel isn't your guy. It just means that you want to.
I know, but there were a lot of analysts who were saying, "Well, we know Mike McDaniel did a good job this year, but could he give Stephen Ross does crazy shit?" I'm like, come on, man, this guy.
This time last year, rumors were going around that one of the coaches who might get fired is Brian Flores, and we all balked at it. Like, what are you talking about? And then he was fired the next week. Oh no, he's fired nowish. You know what I mean?
But I think he was fired because it
wasn't due to performance, but everybody just thought. So it's obvious that Stephen Ross isn't only thinking about performance.
True, but it would have been incredibly stupid for them to fire Mike McDaniel. He's been great.
I thought it was stupid for them to fire Flores, but then again, you don't want to have conflict in there like that if your GM and the coach don't get along.
Yeah, but now you got a legit defensive coordinator. This is this is big time.
Yeah, it's really nice. Highest paid defensive coordinator in the league.
Nice. We had the Jets offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur, who got fired about a week or two ago, has now found himself a new gig as the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams.
Did we talk about the Jets' new offensive coordinator?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I forgot who it was, though.
It's Nathaniel Hackett.
Yes, we did. Didn't we bring that up? We must have talked about that last week. Yeah, we did bring that up last week.
Is my video frozen for you?
It is, yeah.
Okay, I'll switch to this. It's not as good looking, but it'll work.
It's frozen in a very precarious position. You're like,
yeah, I was just scratching my chin.
In mid,
hey, we got it's a new computer here, man. We got to figure it out. Now I look like the same color as my shirt, but whatever. Can't win them all.
The other big hire this week, the Falcons have gone out here and snatched the Saints defensive coordinator, Ryan Nielsen. We out here snatching chains, y'all.
You were happy about that.
I love it. I love taking something away from the New Orleans Saints. I hope he's good, But this guy, I mean, they're saying that this guy could unlock this defense. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see. I'm worried that we may not have the pieces that we need. But we'll see how good of a coach he is. But this guy, I mean, he's been with the Saints since 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Most recently serving as the defensive line coach and co-defensive coordinator. I mean, that Saints defense has been one of the best in the league for, on and off for the last decade. So let's see. New Orleans has recorded 281 sacks during his time there.
Mm-hmm.
Second most in the NFL over that span.
Cam Jordan has been there.
Well, that's the problem. We don't have a Cam Jordan. That's what I'm worried about. But yeah, they frequently finish in the top 10 in sacks. And this guy's a big part of that. So I love that we out here snatching their defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Now, look, the Falcons have fired 3 of their last defensive assistants, which, we just have not been. We've been one of the worst defenses in the league for years. So any help we can get is good.
I'm wondering if we say that this is the last straw for our guy, your guy, the silver spoon.
I think this will be the last year for him to. I think this year he'll be fine, unless, of course, I mean, if we go like 1-16 or something, then yeah, I could see him getting fired. I think Arthur Smith is safe this year, coming into this year. But I think this will be the last year you could consider him safe.
Okay.
Because, I mean, what do they say? 3-4 years is pretty much all you get.
I think you should get 4.
If you can't turn it around by year 4, you're probably gone. But yeah, I think he deserves. I think year 1 for me is a wash. He inherited an absolute nightmare with no salary cap. Yeah. This year will be the first year that we actually have a salary cap to work with. This year is the first year that Arthur Smith has a chance to truly build this team the way he wants to build it.
If they get that defense right,
yeah.
If that's the right hire, then.
Yeah.
Could be terrible. And the Saints are sticking with Dennis Allen.
That is correct.
You should be happy about that. I just don't think he's the one.
Well, and now you have, I mean, that division is still, obviously was the worst division this year.
Who's the best coach in the division?
Well, it's kind of hard to say at the moment. Well, I think you'd have to say it's Frank Reich now that he's been hired for Carolina. He's certainly the best coach in the division. So I don't know, man. But it's one of those divisions that's still up for grabs. So
yeah.
Sticking with offensive coordinator news, Cowboys have fired their offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore.
Fired him.
And apparently Mike McCarthy will take over the play calling duties in Dallas. For those of you who are not watching, Jonathan Rollins has leaned away from the microphone and is rubbing his eyes as if to indicate what the fuck.
Yeah, that's exactly.
What's wrong with y'all?
Yeah, we don't have a soundboard today, so we'll be using our own voices as soundboard.
So
this bitch.
Exactly. The Cowboys had a top 5 scoring offense in 2022, averaging 27.5 points per game.
Is it because Kellen Moore lined up Zeke at center? It was a fireable offense. What? Isn't Kellen Moore one of the hottest coordinators?
Well, obviously, someone on the offensive side of the ball had to take responsibility for this team's latest playoff defeat. And for some reason, it couldn't be Dak Prescott, who led the league in picks with 15 interceptions. And he threw 15 interceptions after missing five games.
5 games, yes.
Historically speaking, I don't think anyone's ever done that before. But as you suggest, Kellen Moore did not need to sort of apply to join the breadline for too long because almost immediately it was announced that the Los Angeles Chargers have hired Kellen Moore to be their offensive coordinator. So it happened like that.
McCarthy about to be gone, man.
Oh yeah, his seat is the hottest coming.
You're adding yourself, like you're adding a responsibility onto yourself. I guess he's saying if I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down swinging.
Yep.
Wow, scapegoating like crazy. Didn't they fire other positions too?
I think they fired like 6 different assistant coaches, and they kept Dan Quinn as the defensive coordinator, who was out here interviewing for a number of different jobs. I don't see why Dan Quinn. I mean, if McCarthy gets fired in season, Dan Quinn's your interim head coach, period. Right?
Maybe that's what he's waiting on. Maybe Dan Quinn is like, I want to he's showing some loyalty.
Yeah.
Taking some interviews, turning it down publicly, saying I want to stick this thing out.
Saying he wants to win a Super Bowl in Dallas. That's what he said.
Yeah. And then once McCarthy inevitably gets fired, Dan Quinn can take the reins and right the ship.
Don't be surprised when that happens next year, y'all.
I think they start 0-3. It's a wrap. I think Jerry's gonna pull the trigger faster than a dirty cop.
Yeah,
it's gonna be.
Yeah. Let's see. In quarterback news, Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray is expected to miss the start of the 2023 season and may not return until the second half due to that knee injury.
Oh, I thought it was a bruised ego. Well, he doesn't have to worry about Cliff Kingsbury, so.
True.
You know what'll suck? What I was thinking about? If Brian Flores gets the coaching job and he's gone from Tua to Kyler Murray, which are both kind of like quarterbacks that have a little bit of fragility.
Sure.
And are this new age that don't really respond to tough, hard-nosed coaching like that. So it'll suck for Brian Flores to get that head coaching position, and then now you got to deal with somebody who is out here tweeting bullshit and to communicate.
Yeah. Agreed.
So I'll be like, man, God damn.
The one part of this report that I feel is very smart is that they're saying that they want to take their time and they want to make sure that he's 100% healed. He's young. He's got a long career, and he's not going to rush coming back before he's ready.
Don't do it, Flores. Don't do it, Flores.
But it kind of begs the question, like, what are they going to do at quarterback if he's not going to start until midway?
You know what they're going to do? They're going to bring in a good veteran, a la Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yeah, could be Jimmy G. Yeah, somebody like that who's good enough to make you think, oh, this could be the starting quarterback. And it's going to create a quarterback controversy when it's time for Murray to come back in and the quarterback's been winning games for you.
Ryan Tannehill?
Just like Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tua Tagovailoa. It's going to be the same fucking thing.
You could do a Ryan Tannehill. He's a free agent.
Is he a free agent?
Derek Carr, also out here in the win.
Oof.
There's a lot of options.
And the GM's not going to want to move on. Or did they fire the GM? GM's
gone.
Oh, he's gone
GM's
too?
Gone too.
So nobody's got ties to Murray, but Murray just got the contract.
Yep. This could end in a bad way.
Most likely will.
Mm-hmm. On with the quarterback news, Aaron Rodgers trade rumors.
Can we skip to the next story?
The NFL insiders convinced that the Packers prefer to move on from Aaron Rodgers.
It's Jordan Love time, baby.
Yeah. Apparently, league sources are convinced that the franchise prefers to move on from Rodgers, just as it did once upon a time with Brett Favre. Dude, I say that because I watched on NFL Network on the Game Pass. You know, they've got that thing where you can watch those different shows that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one called Timeline where they talk about specific times in the NFL history. And they have this hour-long program on the 91 Falcons and how, Dion and all that MC Hammer, Too Legit to Quit, how they sort of brought swag to the NFL with that whole Dion, MC Hammer, all these people on the sidelines and Jerry Jones. And, they just did it in a different way, But it was funny because that was also the year that the Falcons drafted Brett Favre. And they cut to the clip of they were like, and the Atlanta Falcons with the blah, blah, blah pick in the draft select Brett Favre. Completely botched his name. It was hilarious. It was very funny. But yeah, there's a lot that indicates that Rodgers could be on the move. It'll be interesting to see where he winds up, to be honest.
And what they get for him.
Mm-hmm.
That could kind of set the market.
Yeah, it could. Let's see. Yeah. It's his salary is projected to be more than $16 million.
That's not that much.
Wait, no. It's projected to be more than $16 million over the salary cap. Yeah. The Packers are going to be $16 million over the cap.
That's an easy way to get under.
True.
Damn.
Wow.
I can't imagine him in another jersey, but
we said that about Brett Favre too.
2023.
I mean, the weird thing is that he could one of the strongest rumors is that he's going to wind up with the Jets.
They'll be immediate, up there for that could win the division. You know what I mean? They're plug and play.
I agree. Well, the other one sort of fits into the next story I wanted to talk about, which is that following this injury to Brock Purdy, suddenly, what felt like a settled issue. Everyone thought Brock Purdy was going to be the 49ers starting quarterback next year. Now everyone's wondering who is going to be their quarterback. He's got this torn UCL in his elbow, probably going to require surgery. He'll be out for at least 6 months, maybe longer. So they might be in a similar situation where they need to bring somebody in to start the season.
They have Garoppolo. They have Lance will be back, right?
Right. But, Lance is obviously recovering from his broken ankle, which he suffered back in week 2.
He'll be all right.
It's just not really – it sort of opens up a fair amount of doubt as to what they're going to do.
Isn't it the same injury Josh Allen got? It looked like the same type of hit, too.
I think so, yeah.
I remember UCL.
Jimmy, I don't think they're going to keep Jimmy G because I think he's going to cost too much money. I think they're going to be able to toss him off on somebody else. I think Jimmy G should go to the Cardinals, actually. I think that would be a good...
Yeah, that is a good one. Or Carolina.
True. I actually think, here's the thing. I think Carolina is in a precarious situation where the owner really wants to fix their quarterback situation. I think Carolina is going to try to draft.
Okay, the future.
I think Carolina might try to move up to get one of the hotshot quarterbacks in the draft. Okay. That's my prediction. I think they would rather go young and develop like a Bryce Young or a CJ Stroud or rather than hey, let's get a Derek Carr in here and see what happens. Because I don't think Frank Reich wants to do that because he just spent the last, how many years? 5, 6 years taking veteran quarterbacks as the Colts coach to sort of cover. He knows that doesn't work. by experience, he knows it doesn't work. So it would be my guess that Frank Reich is not interested in making the same mistakes in Carolina that he made in Indianapolis.
I can't believe Andrew Luck just walked away.
Mm.
I can't take it anymore.
Mm.
I get all this injuries. It's not fun, so I'm done playing the game. I'm going to play golf and hack trees.
In our final bit of quarterback news, my man, former Bulldog Stetson Bennett, was out here trying to kill his draft stock by getting arrested for public intoxication. Bro.
Get somebody else to drink for you, man.
What does he do?
For right now, I'll be passing every drink on to other people until I get drafted. I'm like, all right, man. Hey, drink that for me, man.
This is the same guy who got a lot of heat when they won the national championship last year.
Oh, they won last year too?
Oh, I don't know if you realize this. They've won back to back, so that's 2 years. 2 years in a row.
Okay.
Just
interesting.
Just a way of sort of highlighting the level of dominance that the Georgia football program has illustrated for the world. But when they won it last year, he went on like CBS Good Morning America or whatever the fuck the morning after they won. And you could tell like he wasn't hungover because he was still drunk from the night before. Like he was like had a really hard time of like putting sentences together.
Oh man.
And he got a lot of flack for that. And now he's already not expected to be.
He was probably underage too, huh? Oh no, he was.
No. He's what? He was
like 25 or some shit.
He's as old as Joe Burrow, I think.
Okay. Damn.
He's older than a lot of quarterbacks who are in the league now, but he's been in college for so long that because of his transfer and you get an extra year and all that kind of stuff. Anyway.
He's like, I'm doing this for my kids.
So apparently, according to the police, he was arrested around 6:00 on Sunday morning. Officers responded to a call about a man banging on doors, and they encountered Stetson Bennett, although they're not really sure if he was the one banging on doors. Either way, they determined that he was severely intoxicated, and he was taken into a detention center and arrested.
Damn, he got detention outside of school, man.
It's definitely going to hurt his draft stock for sure, which was already not great to begin with. He doesn't have the metrics, physically speaking, of a typical NFL quarterback.
Jalen Hurts all over again.
Could be. I don't know. We'll see. It's just an interesting story. One of my friends from back home was like, shit, after back-to-back championships, this guy I'd be drunk for a whole month, which apparently he has been. So,
well,
finally, I thought we would dive into, this was announced last week, but we didn't really have time to talk about it, but to get into the NFL honors.
Yeah, man.
The MVPs and offensive players of the year and all that kind of stuff.
Can we, I was thinking we could end with MVP and work our way up to it.
I like the way you think.
Because the first one I got here is the AP Assistant Coach of the Year. You want to start there?
Yeah. Who do they got?
They got the offensive coordinator from the Lions, Ben Johnson, who wasn't the one that was talking that shit during the Hard Knocks. He was like quietly in the background.
That's true.
While Deuce Staley was beefing it up with the defensive coordinator. Then there's one of the hottest coaching potential coaching hires, D'Amico Ryans, 49ers defensive coordinator. And then there's Shane Steichen, the Eagles offensive coordinator. All are nominated for Assistant Coach of the Year. I think and that's the only three.
Anybody you think should be on this list who's not on this list?
Yes. I've been grapefruiting the shit out of this man all season, and I think he's the engine, the quiet engine behind the machine that is the Cincinnati Bengals, and that's Lou Anarumo. It's crazy that he's not nominated.
I agree.
The way that they went on that tear at the end of the year where they're not losing games.
It's a good point.
Or you said so D'Amico Ryans, of course, should be on there. Ben Johnson, the Lions did have an explosive offense, so that kind of makes sense too. But I don't know. I would put him up there before Ben Johnson.
The important thing to keep in mind is that these things have already been voted on before the playoffs start.
Mm-hmm.
So if I would have to guess, I would say they're probably going to give it to either Ben Johnson or DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah, DeMeco Ryans is going to get it.
There was just a lot of narrative around Ben Johnson towards the end of the season.
Yeah, but like there was that slump they had. Like when their season, it seemed to be more tied to Amon-Ra St. Brown than Ben Johnson, because one player went down and that offense just fucking sputtered. Then he comes back from his injury and then the offense blows up again. So,
you know what? You're right. It should. You know what? Fuck. It should be DeMeco Ryans. He should win this.
Yeah, that defense was all year carrying that team while they figured out their quarterback situation. Enough to the point where, as you mentioned last episode, the third quarterback was doing all of this stuff and didn't have too much pressure on himself because you just weren't scoring on it. How many players do we know now from that defense that we didn't know about before the year?
I agree.
Coach of the year, there's 5 candidates. We got each and every individual in the building. Nick Sirianni, Kyle Shanahan, Doug Peterson, who took a shit ball that was on fire and turned it into a playoff team. Sean McDermott, Buffalo Bills, who was probably voted on before the season started. And then, have you seen that rant on the Pat McAfee show? There's a rant of this guy. This guy is ranting about the. I should play it. He's ranting about the Bills fans. And he hates them so much. And he begins the rant by saying, I know that the 3-time Super Bowl defending Super Bowl champion Bills, and he's like keeps going, and McAfee's like, what are you talking about 3 times? He's like, oh, you haven't been on Twitter? Apparently the Buffalo Bills have won the Super Bowl 3 times in a row the way that they're talking. Oh, so great. He just undressed the Buffalo Bills fans. Anyway, Sean McDermott, and he's talking about before the season, everybody's like, they're going to win. They have all of this hype, and they haven't been better than the Bengals. And then there's Brian Daboll of the Giants. Those are the Coach of the Year candidates. I think that's all good Coach of the Year candidates.
I'm looking at an article here that says that it also includes some people that they feel have been snubbed from these respective categories.
For Coach of the Year. Who's been snubbed for Coach of the Year? That should have been.
Well, they say Dan Campbell. I disagree with that.
No, definitely disagree.
Dan Campbell did a great job, but they did start the year 0-6. So
yes. It's like, what are you talking about?
The other one who I think maybe belongs on the list would be Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a legitimate snub. I could put him there instead of.
I put him there instead of McDermott.
Yeah, I could put him there. Doug Peterson definitely deserves to be there, but
I know who you want to say. Go ahead and say it, man.
Man, fuck Kyle Shanahan. He's probably going to win, too, because it's like, oh, he had to play his third-string quarterback. It's like, man.
No. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. But I think if you go there, you got to go with Doug Peterson, man.
I think Sirianni is a worthy winner of this award.
Man, there's only one coach on this list that's worthy of this award. I think head and shoulders above the rest of them is Brian Daboll.
True.
He turned Daniel Jones into one of the top quarterbacks in the league. You know what I mean? From the GOAT of the league. Right. Of this guy's gonna fuck up. He's gonna throw you to not being an issue at all.
Fair point.
A middle of the road quarterback that's not going to lose you games and might win you some games, maximized this quarterback and made this team believe. By the middle of the season, we were all believing, and we were shocked when they got blown out by the Eagles because they had us all believing because of him.
Yeah,
give a couple. He's doing what McDermott did a couple years ago.
It's a good argument. It's hard to argue against that.
Yeah, I think he's the best one on there, or the best case, strongest case.
Sure. Yeah.
Comeback player of the year. Do they have the ones that are left out on that too?
They only had one.
Okay.
They only have one snub on here.
I'll read the candidates. You got Saquon Barkley from
Yep.
the Giants, who everybody knows.
Yep.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
It's funny that it's mostly coming off injuries, and then Geno Smith is just coming off of just disrespect.
He's just coming off
general disrespect.
Just coming off a difficult career.
Yeah, at some point, people are written off.
But then they can choose not to write back.
Yeah. So that's the three that they have. Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, and Geno Smith. Who you got?
The snub here is Travis Etienne Jr.
Ah.
Fair
what was his because he had an injury last year? Season engine? Okay.
But I think the reason why he missed his entire rookie season.
Okay. Say it, but
with an injury,
come back from, yeah.
So it's like we don't know what you're coming back from.
Yeah.
We didn't see you. We didn't see how good you were. So.
Yeah, I think. I guess. So. I guess in this, because Geno Smith, it's not like he fell from grace.
To me, this got to be Geno's award.
It's easily Geno. Easily.
I'm giving it to Geno.
I'm giving it to Geno too, man. That dude had us like, what? What? The whole year. The best deep ball in the league.
Yep.
All year, statistically. Scramble if he needed to. Like, carrying his team to victories when their defense was letting them down. Yeah. I say Geno.
A guy who essentially had created a reputation for himself for just going to be like a journeyman backup for the rest of his career after he fell out of favor with the Jets.
Yeah.
Stayed put and won the job outright against who did he have to compete with? Drew Lock? Was that it?
He did. Yeah. Remember he said we got 2 starting quarterbacks?
Oh, that's right. That was right.
Dummy. Christian McCaffrey, I'd say no because it's so obvious that he got into the perfect position. He was over there in Carolina. He wasn't turning any heads over there. If you get traded mid-season, how can that make you comeback player of the year? The team was like, and then you went to a stacked ass team and were balling with one of the best running minds in the game. No surprise.
I wouldn't be surprised if they give it to him though.
I'd be shocked if they don't give it to Geno. Yeah.
They gotta give it to Geno.
Yeah, and Saquon, we all rooting for him, man. Oof, defensive rookie of the year. Here's our candidates. We got Tariq Woolen from the Seahawks, Aiden Hutchinson from the Lions, probably fan favorite. He might short arm it, and then Sauce Gardner from the Jets, who's gonna win.
Sauce Gardner is going to win this award easily, but I have to say that Aiden Hutchinson does not belong on this list.
Nah. Who do they have that snubbed?
He wasn't that good.
Nah. He was struggling at first, right? He came on at the end of the season. Who you got? Who was snubbed?
For snubs, they have Texans safety Jalen Petrie, Bears safety Jaquan Brisker, Lions linebacker James Houston, Patriots cornerback Jack Jones, and Patriots cornerback Marcus Jones.
Jack Jones was a rookie? Yeah. Marcus Jones a rookie too? Wow. Look at Bill out here drafting. Yeah, I think those are there's some snubs, but none of them.
It doesn't really matter because you could change the order around as much as you want. They're giving it to Sauce Gardner. Easy.
Didn't he make the Pro Bowl?
Yep.
It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's a lock.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, they got Brock Purdy, K9, and Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver of the Jets. I think they're going to give this to Purdy, but you can't really argue against fucking however many wins he had in a row.
I personally, there's a debate whether Brock Purdy deserves to be here, given the fact that he only played 6 games in the regular season. I agree.
Yeah,
I don't think
agree
he
too.
belong. I agree. I don't think he should be on this list.
Yeah, it's not of the quarter; it's of the year.
It's playing 6 games. It's like,
yeah.
call me
Nobody
when you
can figure you out. Yeah.
All these other motherfuckers are out here playing 17 games. Kenneth Walker was dealing with injuries, and he came back, and I just don't think it's fair. There's quite a few snubs on this list who I would argue are far more worthy than being on there.
Olave?
Chris Olave.
Yeah.
Packers wide receiver Christian Watson.
Oh, yeah. Christian Watson, too. All the Chris's.
Texans running back Damian Pierce.
Oh, I forgot about him. Yes. How's Purdy on the list, man? Get the fuck out of here.
And motherfucker's the top 3 running back in the league. Quietly, top 3 running back in the league. Falcons running back Tyler Algier. How is he not on this list? Bro.
I don't understand, man.
How? Disrespect. The level of disrespect.
Yeah, the rookies are showing up, man. They're coming into the league more ready now than ever.
What's wrong with y'all?
The offensive player of the year. We got 4 candidates. You got Patrick Mahomes.
Where we on?
He's a quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Uh-huh.
He wears number 15. Kind of mixed curly hair. Talks like Kermit the Frog. Yeah. You got Justin Jefferson, the Vikings wide receiver. Jalen Hurts, Eagles quarterback, and Tyreek Hill, offensive player of the year. Man, that's a tough one. I mean, when you put the quarterbacks with wide receivers.
Can I say that this kind of annoys me a little bit? Like, it isn't enough that the MVP is basically a quarterback award, but then you're going to let 2 quarterbacks occupy space in the Offensive Player of the Year award?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
And you got no running backs?
I was just going to say that.
You got no Josh Jacobs. You got
could
no Derrick
do like
Henry.
the Oscars and have 10. Do like the Oscars. Have 10 candidates.
Or why not? I think Saga brought up a good point last night over dinner. She was like, why not have MVP, which is basically a quarterback award. You have
quarterback
best wide receiver, best running back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why not?
Or skill player. Best skill player.
Are you telling me that Josh Jacobs, who had a hell of a year, Derrick Henry also had a great year, my man, former Bulldog Nick Chubb, running all over the yard.
Yep. And was the most valuable player on his team.
Easy. I hate
Good
that
point.
they let quarterbacks into the Offensive Player of the Year award.
Or they should just say skill player of the year. So it takes out the quarterback a bit.
Sure. It pisses me off. I hate it.
I like that. I like that it pisses you off. Who would you say should win out of those 4? It's tough, man. It's hard to even... I'd say Justin Jefferson. He broke Randy Moss's record.
I say Justin Jefferson. I say fuck all these quarterbacks. I say Justin Jefferson. Some of the other snubs they list here, I'm not here for this, but they say Justin Fields.
What?
Chargers running back Austin Eckler.
Okay.
Didn't he lead the league in touchdown? Or was that?
No, that was the Lions running back.
Yeah, you're right. And then, of course, they say, as I said, Josh Jacobs and Nick Chubb.
Yeah. Then we got the defensive player of the year. There's 3 candidates. It's weird. There's only 3.
Why are there... Okay, well, that pisses me off. Why are there 4 on the offense and only 3 on the defense?
Yeah, they don't give a fuck about defense. It's really annoying. There's never defensive MVP.
Oh, my God,
candidates.
the snubs. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Read the list.
Of course, they only got 3. It's Nick Bosa, Chris Jones, and Micah Parsons.
All worthy to be on that list.
Yeah.
Clearly. I assume Nick Bosa is going to win it.
Yeah. I think he had the most sacks. I think Micah Parsons should win it, personally.
Listen to these snubs.
So, yeah.
Steelers safety, Micah Fitzpatrick. Didn't he lead the league in interceptions?
Did he? I didn't know that.
Pretty close.
I know he's flying. I love watching him. To me, is like watching Micah Parsons as well.
I know he got one against my Falcons, that's for sure. Raiders defensive end Max Crosby, snubbed.
Wow.
And this one, I mean, okay, can we just talk about the fact that there's not the Eagles defense, which has the most sacks on the year, you don't have a single Eagles player tapped for Defensive Player of the Year.
I know, right?
Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, how's he not? Yeah.
How is he not on the list?
Stupid. Maybe that's what he's talking about. How he's,
This is a dumb list. There should be.
Fitzpatrick had the most interceptions, and he's the only one that had a pick six. I mean, not only pick six, but he had one of his was a touchdown of the ones that had six. There's a few that had six, but he had a pick six in there as well.
This is
Tariq Woolen too.
I think there should be 5.
Yeah,
you should have 5 candidates for Defensive Player of the Year. This is
stupid.
dumb.
And then they have 5 candidates for MVP. All quarterbacks except for Justin Jefferson, and that's just kind of a honorable mention thing.
Stupid.
But it's Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, and Patrick Mahomes. MVP is Patrick Mahomes.
I don't see any way to disagree with that.
There's a addition by subtraction type of thing where you can, if you wanted to throw Tua in there, because when he was not on that team, it looked like a different fucking team. And then when he's on the team, it looked like when he's healthy on the team, it looks like a top offense in the NFL. So that's an argument for Tua Tagovailoa, but
I think the fact that the Chiefs lost what felt like one of their biggest offensive weapons, they completely changed their offense, and yet they still not only managed to win the AFC, the number 1 seed, but they also had the number 1 offense in the league.
And scoring. Wasn't it 29 points a game average?
So I would say it's sort of a no-brainer that you have to give it to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. And it's a no-brainer that if y'all smart out there, you break that fucking that Reed Bieniemy team up. And somebody hired this man away from Andy Reid because the fact they keep snubbing him.
I saw a report that the Commanders were requesting to interview Bieniemy to be their offensive coordinator.
You are lying.
It's true.
Smack in the face.
So not a head coaching job, but just a lateral move. Like, come be our OC. True story.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, prove it that you're. Then again, you got it's people who sniffed Sean McVay for half a season.
He's been to the Super Bowl 3 times in the last 5 years, but I still need him to prove it.
That it's not Andy Reid.
Well, of course, Andy Reid has something to do with it, but still.
No, I'm just saying, like, they're all like, oh no, it has to be Andy Reid. It's it can't be the offensive coordinator. Like, you know what I mean? But Sean McVay, they're like, that guy is good enough because he was on the Sean McVay staff. But Andy Reid, it's got to be Andy. It's all Andy Reid. Insane.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's such bullshit. If he was skinny, I feel like this is more than just black. He just looks, you know what I mean? He's not a handsome dude, I think, is what, or
short, little
traditionally handsome.
Lupa.
Yeah, he's just like
he's not like D'Amico Ryans, you know?
Right. Handsome and looks striking. D'Amico Ryan, former, like, just not too long out of the league.
You'd probably let him date your daughter if he weren't such a racist. You know?
I think there's something to it, man. I think there's something to it where as soon as Mike McCarthy gets hired, there's questions about him and his ability. You know what I'm saying? You got to be. I don't talk about fat phobia much.
It doesn't seem to affect Andy Reid, though.
Andy Reid proved it for a long time as the Eagles coach, and then he was fired as soon as they fell off. He
fat as hell.
And Bieniemy didn't used to be. Remember, he was a good player
He's been going to the barbecue joints with Andy Reid.
Oh,
That's his problem.
They over there. When they're sitting there looking at film all day, he orders a slab of everything. Can you bring 6 animals? 6 animals worth of everything. And we're going to go through some tape.
And some extra barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce.
Bring me 12 hot honeys now.
Can I get an extra side of hot honey on my hot honey? Can you heat up the hot honey? I want my honey hotter.
I'm going to be so fucking pissed if they have suspended the hot honey by the time I get back to the United States. I got to get one.
Yeah. I think I'm going to make them for the Super Bowl.
We'll
talk about Super Bowl food in the next one, too. As we're gearing up. We got to talk about what we're going to eat. I got to get my plan ready. I think I really want to make hot honeys. Maybe hot honey sliders.
Oh, bro, I was just getting ready to say that. Like hot honey bites, like little mini versions.
Little hot honey sliders.
Shit, I wasn't going to stay up for the Super Bowl, but if you're going to do that, I might have to stay awake for that.
I think I'm going to do it. I might make homemade pickles, too. I think I'm going to start making some pickles now. That's long enough, right?
Yeah, sure. You can also you can do a quick pickle.
Yeah, like how my wife does it a lot with the red onions. I might have to. I'm making hot honeys, man. That's it. We'll talk about it. All right, is that all you had on the docket, man? I'm gonna wrap this thing up.
That is all I have for now. Everything else is mostly Super Bowl related, and we can get into that next week. Because we got a week to just talk about
everything.
Talk about the Super Bowl and all that bullshit. And the game is what? February 12th, I believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Sunday, February 12th.
Yeah. Sunday the 12th, Monday for us.
Right,
Monday
starts
the
at
13th.
12:30.
Sunday the 12th is also Bash's first gig.
Okay.
He's gonna do a stop motion animation voicing for a short film.
Dope.
So he's gonna have his first paid gig, man. He's gonna make a little cash, put in his little bank
Bash.
account. Yeah, get that money, man.
Nice. I like that shit.
Pay your taxes.
Pay your bills, son.
Pay your bills. Ain't nothing free.
You gonna start charging them rent?
Oh yeah. Start? What you mean start? I thought that's what Barn Bajog meant. I didn't look at the translation.
So that's my money.
We got paid. All right, thank y'all for checking this episode out. It has been another fun episode of SveNFL with Jonathan Rollins
and Schif Musara.
We'll be back to talk about the Super Bowl. Stay tuned. Peace.
Later, y'all.